particularly for the IGA, we always challenge ourselves for each year to try and be better than the last year. You have to be unique. You have to believe in what you're doing as strongly. We all know it's hard work to be successful in this industry. So without believing what you're doing and not trying to copy what's come before you is the most important thing. I'll tease you with something, as is that you'll see at the awards opening ceremony. It's very much linked to Clever Duck. The half an hour before the event starts is now the most stressful, just to make sure that you guys and everybody else there has a great time. Over the years, there's been some, from our friends and colleagues, whatever, instead of duck, they called us something else that rhymes with duck. Please, and if you don't win this year, there's always next year.
Hi everyone, today's guest Colin Thompson, co-founder of International Gaming Awards, a long-time organizer of one of the industry's most respected award ceremonies. For nearly 2 decades, he has been behind the scenes connecting operators, suppliers, and sponsors. And of course, helping to shape how our industry celebrates excellence and supports charity. Today, we'll talk about the story behind the awards, what it takes to keep the reputation strong, and how you stay committed to one project for many years.
Hi, Aziz.
Hi, Colin. Hello,
So
hello.
I'm just turning the music down.
Please. But yeah, how are you today?
Good. It's a Friday, so it's nearly the end of the week for us.
Absolutely. And just a few time left till all the events, till all the fun. So I think it's hectic time for everyone, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody who goes to ICE and exhibits it's terrible time, because obviously you got Christmas, you got New Year, then you got the Orthodox Christmas, which is the 6th or the 7th of January. So yeah, it's a very stressful time, not just for us, but for others as well.
And thank you very much for finding time during this crazy time to talk for a while about IGA, about everything.
I mean,
And yeah,
I've looked over all the questions. I haven't written anything down, as is. I'm going to try and, go for it straight off, because a lot of them I think I can answer anyway. Let's see how this goes
okay.
then, as is, yeah?
Let's see. I think it will be fun in any case. Okay, Colin, thanks again for joining. And you are one of the examples of professionals who stay for years within one project, within one company. Not many people can, I think they know someone like this. So what's your secret here? How do you stay motivated to work on the same project?
I think, first of all, you have to believe in what you're doing. We had a reason for starting the International Gaming Awards over 19 years ago now. And that was to give a positive outlook to the gambling industry. As we know, the national press, international press, don't give the gambling industry a positive look. And the reason we started was to, one, show what the gambling industry does and how positive it can be. And we combined that from day one with charity focus. And I think that is what drives us through the years, is although I suppose still the industry isn't always shown in a positive light, I think the industry is doing more and more over the years since we started to show that they're not just about gambling and taking people's money. There's more to the industry, creating jobs, doing a positive outlook, helping communities. And I think that's what the awards have done. And I think that's what drives us over the years to continue.
Thank you very much. And yeah, I think it helps since gambling has become iGaming, which has some more neutral meaning than obscene word gambling. And probably, yeah, you are the one who is doing some input here to create this positive reputation, to improve this. That's great. And speaking of IGA again, when you look back at the early days, what kept you going on when probably no one believed in the project yet?
In the early days, like 19, 20 years ago, online gambling was a very small part of the gambling industry. We actually started out in recognizing the land-based industry. And what we saw then was there was a few iGaming companies. I remember the first one that ever came was Playtech, and nobody really heard of Playtech at that time. And that's what drives us more than anything, to show how the gambling industry has evolved. A long time ago, before we launched, somebody in the media said you would never get the gambling industry together. Competitors would never come together, to celebrate their successes and their challenges. And I think that's what's driven us. From day one, the land-based industry then wouldn't not interested in iGaming. And then it's changed. I mean, I can't think of a land-based company that doesn't have an iGaming presence now. And that change over the years has driven us to see what else is going to be changing. You mentioned, Aziz, about the word gaming. And we still think of gambling as gaming. It's still games. It's funds like 18Peaches and everybody else does with games. It's just, yes, it adds on money. But that's just part of the fun, and it should be just part of the fun. And that's why we look at it as gaming more than anything else. Why we continue is to show that people it is fun gambling, and it should remain fun.
Absolutely, I agree with you, and I already mentioned this that gambling component here is just a spice that that you add here, and just for a better taste. But if you add a lot, of course, it will spoil the food. But yeah, if you take it, if you measure this, if you're not addicted to this, then it could be, yeah, it could bring more fun and more taste to the life. And what about you personally? Can you share any advice on how to keep the energy, since the industry is crazy, it's hectic, it's the industry of workaholics. So I think it will be interesting for the audience to get some advice on how to keep fresh energy year after year.
I think first of all, you have to believe in what you're doing. Whether if you work for a company or you're an entrepreneur, you have to believe in what you're doing first of all. And particularly for the IGA, we always challenge ourselves for each year to try and be better than the last year. Whether it's a different presentation, whether it's something we do to make the audience enjoy the event a little bit more, that's what drives us on. Each year, make it a little bit better, a little bit more. Because although we're known as the awards of the year, like the Oscars, and we try and keep that going, we're an event as much as an awards. So that's what drives us to make people enjoy the evening. We all know, like the Oscars, it can go on for hours. And so we have to hopefully try and engage the audience through that. And I think we do to the best way we can.
Not only the best way, but IGA also has a very good reputation, and many people in the industry, they know that this is one of the most fair award shows in iGaming. So what does it mean to you on practice? How do you protect it? And how do you make sure the process is transparent and unbiased, as unbiased as possible?
First of all, it's choosing the judges that hopefully can be as fair as possible. But we all know that the industry is connected by so many different companies operating. But what we've done over the last few years is brought in an auditor company, and other companies have done the same. But irrelevant to whether you have an audited company or not, we offer all the finalists to see the judges' votes, whether they win or not. If they're a finalist, all we can say is, well, you can see the judges' votes from where you came. I mean, we can't imagine it be any fairer than that. That if people want to see their votes, and we have shown them over the years, not every year, but if we get a request, then we say, yes, you can see. I think it's more frustrating sometimes if they come second when they've looked at the votes to know how close they've been compared to like coming last. But that's what we've always offered. We say every year, if you want to see your votes, then we're happy to show the votes in your category.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I had a question about generations. The times are changing, and year after year, you are improving and you are adding something new, but the people are changing too. Do you notice any difference? For example, I don't know, do the traditions respected? Or for example, you have a dress code for the ceremony. It's a black tie, and it's a kind of strict dress code. Uh, do you notice any change here when people are more, let's say, flexible to this? They are more relaxed and they can allow not following the dress code strictly, or maybe in some other relations. How do you see the times are changing, and are they changing to better or to worse?
I think that as the industry is carried on, people still like to dress up to show the best of them, and they do. We probably get on occasion maybe 5 or 6 people that don't actually put a black tie on, and those generally are people who've just flown in within an hour and they've rushed and they may be wearing a suit and no tie. And of course we let them. I still think, and because going back, we're an event, a special event just before the RJ, I think people do like dressing up. There's a lot of events during the week that we sit on with Ice Expert that people don't have to dress up. So it's a special occasion. It's like Christmas that we're nearly approaching us as we speak today. People like to dress up, and that's never changed, whether you're young or older.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Thank you for sharing. And yes, it's Christmas. And how's your Christmas mood? Maybe you could tell a few words to us, to our audience. Maybe some wishes. Maybe I don't know. Share your Christmas mood with us, please.
Christmas, I mean, here at Clever Duck, we're still working. We might break up. I think we finish on the Tuesday before Christmas, and we will be working just after Christmas before the New Year. And I'm sure a lot of companies out there will be doing the same because obviously there's a lot of events going on, and obviously ICE is coming up. We wish when we speak to our clients, whether they're our sponsors or the attendees or people interested in taking part or the finalists, we wish them the same, and that we wish ourselves the same, that you have a great year ahead. You know, that's that's the most important thing. If you can make it a little bit better from the year before, then good luck.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. It's correct. This is the industry of workaholics, and Christmas mood is business mood, working mood. The same thing is happening to us here as well. I was also interested to ask you about any situations that probably when probably a brand wasn't absolutely happy with the results. How do you usually handle such situations? Just to protect the reputation, and yeah, I think it will be very interesting for the audience to.
I can tell you a very specific one, and a lot of the people in that company's left. I think most of them are left, so I'm not hurting anybody. We had, I think it was in 2018, when we was in London. PokerStars came to us, and it was obviously during the US issues over there with online, and they'd just finished that issue, and they wanted to sponsor. They believed in what we were doing with charity and with the industry awards. So PokerStars approached us to sponsor. And at that time, there was another a company called 18 Poker that was very competitive, and there was some others. And did the awards, we did the judging, of course, and we announced another company that had won that year, not PokerStars and not 18 Poker. And we do get anomalies sometimes by judges for whatever reason. And PokerStars obviously wasn't happy. And we showed them the results, and they actually come second that year. We don't announce first, second, third, fourth. We only announce the winner. So we showed PokerStars, and they weren't happy, but they understood the judging process, and they also understood maybe that they hadn't put in a good enough nomination that year. They believed maybe that some companies do, that your brand speaks for itself. And yes, they were a little bit upset, but it didn't upset them so much that they didn't come and sponsor us for several years after that. And I think that shows us and to other companies that it's not just about winning, it's believing in what you're doing. And if you don't win this year, there's always next year. We had, separate from the IJ, we do the Women in Game Diversity Awards. And there was a lady that came in 5 finals consecutively, but never won. And on the 6th year, she actually won and was so happy. And she went on stage and she said, I've been in the finals for 6 years, and this is the first time I've actually won. And it's the same with the IGA. It is competitive because you want to beat people, but maybe the next year you try a little bit harder to impress the judges.
Yeah, we are also nominated, and of course, we are looking forward, and we are waiting for that. And of course, yeah, we won't be upset if we don't win this year, but we will be very happy if we do. But again, any outcome would be perfect, I think. Here, the participation is more important, and it's not a secret that the industry is crowded right now. There are lots of events happening, lots of awards, and what helps IGA to stay relevant and strong in this very competitive market today?
I think what we do and our beliefs show through to our sponsors and to the nominees and the finalists. That, we as a company always do an event, whether it's the IGA, the Women in Game Diversity Awards, our new one, which is the London Gaming Congress, which is coming into our second year. We always do an event that's unique. We don't copy an event like an awards event. When we started, I think there was one other awards that was started at the same time as us. And it was just by coincidence, it was that year. And the same with what we do at the Women in Gaming Diversity Awards is when we started, I think 15 years ago, we had so much negativity from companies. Oh, women don't need their own event. They don't need to be separated from men. Well, clearly they did. They still do, to be fair to them. So we always do as a company something unique, something innovative. And that's the same with the IGA Awards, that we believe in what we're doing and it's new. And I think that just separates us from everybody else, I think.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. To believe in what you are doing, yeah, that's the main, not a secret, but the technique or yeah thing that helps to move forward. But that's a positive thing. And what about the most stressful part of IGA, from the moment of nominations to the moment the trophies are on the stage? What is the most stressful one?
It used to be, I think, the people taking part in the awards, making nominations. That used to be the most stressful part. But I mean, this year, I'm told that we had over 1,000 nominations for the categories this year, which is an increase, and every year it's increased. So we should never take it for granted about people entering, and we don't. But I think the stress level from that, worrying about people entering, has gone. I think now, from an event just before the awards start, is the most stressful, because obviously we work with different companies to present the awards and to bring it all together, because we always want to make sure it's the best we can do on the evening to make sure people have a great night, an enjoyable night, and different to anything else. And I think I would say to you, and hopefully I'll see you there, is that the half an hour before the event starts is now the most stressful, just to make sure that you guys and everybody else there has a great time.
Thank you very much for this. Thank you very much. And yeah, all the nominees are different. There are newcomers, there are the ones who are with you for years, and probably, yeah, do we want to share anything, any advice to nominees so they understand better about judging process and selection process, apart from judges being independent and apart from something like do not suggest us any bribes, because it doesn't work like that. Maybe you
You'd
have
have to be a
something
very
else to
good bribe, Aziz, to bribe some of our judges.
yeah, it depends on the size. So yeah, now we understand.
A good nomination. We found that at the beginning it was about the company and numbers and who their clients were and so on. It's changed. I would say it's changed in the last 6, 7 years. Judges now are looking for more of a story, the story of the company, what's behind the company, the people behind the company, what drives the company. The questions you're asking me today, are those the ones that the judges pick up more, not just at the IJ, but we found at the Women in Game Diversity that they look for the story of that company or the person more than the numbers. The numbers can come sometimes, but what drives that company and the story there really resonates with the judges more than ever now. So for any companies out there thinking they're nominating for 2027, it's not just about numbers and the figures and what games or whatever you supply. It's the personal thing of the company as well that's important.
Absolutely. The story is the narrative behind the story, the people. Yeah, this is so true. This is so true. But at the same time, yeah, I think the product should also be fine. So it's always should be a balance between good marketing, good storytelling, and a good product.
That's true. But like you say, in a crowded marketplace where there's so many competitors and a lot of them come out with great games or products or whatever it may be, the only thing then that may separate is the personal story of the company that may help differentiate one from another. That's our view
So
anyway.
True, true. And could you please share a funny story or unusual story that probably happened behind the scenes around a ceremony? Something in
Probably got two that come to mind, and I'll tell you both of them. The first one was the first ever awards. And I don't know if your viewers know, but we produce all the finalists and the videos and the winners. We produce everything in-house. And our production team for the very first awards produced a great set of videos to present the finalists and the winners. And then we obviously have to work with an AV team to present it on projectors at that time. So we actually set up, and people were actually in the champagne reception, which is normally an hour. So we set up with the AV company and tried to project all these slides for rehearsal, and none of them worked. Not one worked. So we had no presentation on the first ever awards. And what we figured out, it was the wrong resolution and the wrong format. So our team had to go through all the videos to reformat them. Well, that took about an hour extra. So instead of the champagne being an hour long, it became 2 hours long. But nobody actually complained because I think it cost us about 55 bottles of champagne extra that first year. So everybody was quite happy drinking champagne. But the stress level actually on the first awards was unbelievable. I think was probably about 10 years ago. And we was in a hotel and the presentation was going fine up until about the last half an hour. And it wasn't us, it was the AV company, that their connections to the screens were faulty and it was cutting out for the last half an hour. And I was up on stage presenting with a friend of ours, a colleague, and it was kept cutting out and cutting out. And some people don't mind, especially the last half an hour, as is. People who have had a few drinks by then and just find it amusing for themselves, not for us. So I actually walked off stage. It wasn't my turn to present. I walked off stage to behind the screen, and the head of the AV company was actually trying to connect the cable and holding them in place for half an hour before we finished so we could do the presentation. He was holding them like this, and there was sweat coming down. But everybody enjoyed it. Everybody in the room found it funny. But obviously, we as a company didn't. So those are the two ones that I remember the most. It's always on the night words. We've always managed to do a great presentation, and hopefully in 2026 we'll do the same.
Of course, I very much hope so. That's another good advice that champagne can solve many problems and lubricate them and make them not that important maybe. And I know that these things are happening when you are trying to prepare for something really, really hard and you did a lot and it sometimes happens in the last moment, something is going wrong. This is happening with the interviews as well sometimes. So yeah, I think before the interview, I need to ask the participant to get some champagne just in case something goes wrong, and I'll have some with me. Okay, just a few questions left. So IGA and 18Peaches is also nominated, and we are really looking forward to be at the awards night. How do you see 18Peaches? How do you see our company, our projects? Maybe you could compare us to someone in the industry or outside of it. Anything.
Yeah, when you asked this question, when you was going to ask this question, is I thought about it, and it's very easy to say. Obviously, like 18Peaches, they're similar to say Pragmatic Play or Play and Go or a lot of other companies. And it's the same outside the industry. I'm a golfer, and if some great golf comes along and they say, oh, you're the new Tiger Woods, and the same with 18Peaches, oh, you're the new Pragmatic Play or Play and Go, and so on and so on. But you shouldn't be. Nobody should. You are 18Peaches, and that's what makes you unique, the way you've approached the industry. No company should. That's advice to anybody, is you should be your own company. You should be your own people. And one other thing, that 18Peaches and Clever Duck and the IGA have an affinity together, because I looked on your website and you gave the reasoning for the 1 and the 8. Well, we have the same reasoning with the 8. If people look at our logo, it's an infinity, which is the same as an 8. And we take that on board as much as 18Peaches does, as the reason for your logo and your name.
Thank you very much for telling this. This is very important. And yes, we are trying to make things different and not to be similar to anyone. But and yeah, this is just another proof for us to move forward and grow our own way. But you mentioned about the infinity sign. This is something, that also has driven my attention. But I also had a question about clever duck. Why clever duck? Or is there any meaning behind the duck?
I think when we was thinking of a company, you obviously there could be thousands of different ones sounding serious or whatever, but we wanted something that people remembered. And so clever obviously was, a play on how we present things were clever. And the duck was basically just something that was memorable. There's been over the years, there's been some from our friends and colleagues, or whatever. Instead of duck, they called us something else that rhymes with duck, which, which we don't mind, but it's something memorable. I think, like 18 Peaches and like other companies, you have to stand out, and it's something that people remember. And we went to a whole array of animals, actually, and we had a vote on duck, and it's just stuck and stuck. I'm rhyming. But we just found that it's something that's humorous as well, but memorable. And we actually like the duck. And I'll tease you with something, as is that you'll see at the awards opening ceremony that's very much
Okay.
linked to Clever Duck. And it's one of the things we always do. But this time it's a little bit more humorous, but you'll have to wait to the night.
We are waiting. We are now waiting it twice more eagerly, and looking forward. So yeah, we are intrigued, and yeah, thanks for sharing. I think everything starts from a name, and you are right, it should be really memorable. Your logic is somehow similar to our logic when we were thinking about our brand name, and I think both names are at least memorable, and at least they have some interesting playful meaning behind them. um, okay, it's a pleasure to talk to you. And of course, I know these are the hectic times, and I can't take any more of your time. But the last question, maybe, could you please give us, not us, I wanted to ask you to give an advice to any company or young founders who want to see themselves at the awards stage one night, one day.
Wow. Everyone's different in founders and entrepreneurs and winning an award. You have to be unique. You have to believe in what you're doing as strongly. We all know it's hard work to be successful in this industry. So without believing what you're doing and not trying to copy what's come before you is the most important thing for our company as well. What we've done with the WIG Diversity, with the London Gaming Congress, with the IGA, we've never copied, we've never looked at somebody else to copy. You have to do your own thing. And I think with our judges, every year we have a category called Rising Star. And that's probably the most enjoyable one for our judges, to see the innovation, the drive, the possibilities of what a company could do. And I think that is the most important thing. You got to believe in what you're doing, 100%. If you just copy somebody else and you think we can do this better or that better, that's not what it's all about. Successful people are being innovative and believe in what they're doing. And that's what longevity is, from start to finish. So anybody out there, don't try and copy anybody else. Be yourself.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And from my end, I want to wish you and IGA and Clever Duck Media to keep this longevity, to have long years ahead, and lots of success, lots of nominees, lots of participants, and lots of sponsors as well. Tremendous bribes if it happens like that. And of course, to keep your sense of humor, and and of course, many winnings in golf, since you are a golfer. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and see you in Barcelona.
Thanks, Aziz. Merry Christmas to you and to 18 Peaches and to everybody out there. And we hope to see everybody at the IGA Awards on the 18th of January in Barcelona. Thanks very much.
And by the way, Colin, it will be 18Peaches' birthday on January 18th.
Really?
It will be 4 years. So it's a kind of strange coincidence, or maybe not, but
Well, I'll have to get you a glass of champagne, Aziz, to celebrate.
something. Yeah. Agreed. Thank you very much, Colin. Thank you very much.
Well, I hope it works for you, Aziz.
It will, of course. It is already working. Bye.
Bye, man.
So we've talked to Colin. I think it was a wonderful interview, not even interview, a talk. And yeah, don't forget to leave your comments. Tell us, what do you think about it? What do you think about IGA? What do you think about 18Peaches? Any comments, reactions, or reposts are welcome. And follow us, follow our LinkedIn, follow our Instagram and YouTube and everything. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. See you in the next episode. Bye.